All right, welcome to a new series brought to you by the Science of Flight. This series we're going to be covering the Simulink Aerospace block set. The goal of this series is to cover all the different blocks in the aerospace block set and just explain them, maybe go through some tutorials and examples just to help you lock down what all the different blocks are, what they do, how to use them. So in this video, we're going to first start with a quick explanation on what MATLAB is. The reason, of course, is that MATLAB and Simulink are very interconnected. Then we'll do a quick introduction into what Simulink is. And then we'll go ahead and finish this introductory video with just an introduction to what the aerospace block set is. And then in future videos, we'll start covering different components or different pieces of the block set. Let's get to it. Let's have a quick review on what MATLAB is. MATLAB is actually short for Matrix Laboratory. The creator of MATLAB was actually trying to find a way for students to be able to do linear algebra without having to use Fortran. So we got to start with manipulating and storing matrices. Now, if you ask people what MATLAB is, they might have different answers and it might be hard to explain. Some people might say, oh, it's just an expensive programmable calculator on your computer. Other people might say that it's a computer language. Some people might just say that it's a data analysis software, but I really like the Wikipedia definition. I know in school Wikipedia is not a good source. However, when it comes to describing MATLAB, I think it has a very good definition. It says that MATLAB is a numerical computing environment and proprietary programming language. And it gets that definition because MATLAB is often used for doing data analysis, for doing simulation, and of course for doing post-processing data, which often involves plotting. Now there are some alternatives to MATLAB, right? You have Mathematica, Solver, Maple, Octave, Scilab, and FreeMap. Now, Octave is special because anytime that it has an issue where what you create in Octave can't work on MATLAB, it treats it as a bug. It's all about being compatible with MATLAB. So here on the right, I have a typical layout of the MATLAB environment. On the left, you have some file folder operations. On the right, you'll have your workspace. This is where you can look at your variables and manipulate them. In the middle on the bottom is the command window, so that's where you can do some command line prompt commands. And then of course you also have the option of writing code, scripts, functions, libraries, classes, objects. And so there in the middle on the top you might see a code editor. Now a lot of times when talking about MATLAB, you're going to hear about something else that's called Simulink. This is another product by the same company that makes MATLAB. Simulink is a graphical programming environment. So you are doing a lot of your modeling and simulation in a graphical type format where you're dealing with blocks and connecting signal lines. And it's actually really great at doing dynamic modeling of multi-domain systems. Now here on the right, I took a screenshot of what a model might look like in Simulink. You know, you have your different subsystems there and it got lines connecting what signals need to go to what blocks. Now there is a Simulink Aerospace block set, and that Simulink Aerospace block set does rely a lot on this MATLAB Aerospace toolbox. However, I'm going to go ahead and separate the two. And in this series, we're going to look at the Simulink Aerospace block set. And I'll have a separate series for the MATLAB Aerospace toolbox. So what is the Aerospace block set? To put it simply, the Aerospace block set is a group of blocks available as an add-on purchase to MATLAB. Now, before you go out and start pricing it out and trying to buy it, if you're a student, I would check with your school. They might have it available to you for free, or depending on where you work might make it available for you to use and become familiar with. So before you go out and buy it, definitely check to see if you have it available. And if you do, start using it. If you don't, then you can consider purchasing it. All right, so I said that this Simulink Aerospace block set is essentially a group of blocks. Now, it's not just any old blocks. These are pre-written blocks, right? So you don't have to write any of the background code that goes into some of these blocks. And they're also verified. This kind of gets more into the algorithm of the block, right? The blocks are based on verified algorithms or verified models. So you know that you're getting a good quality block, pre-written, following the standards or model that you want to use, ready to go. This can be extremely powerful to get a simulation up and running very quickly. Now, if you look on the MathWorks website on the Aerospace block set introductory page, you'll see that the blocks are for modeling, simulating, and analyzing aerospace vehicles. Here on the right, I do have a screenshot that I took of my Simulink library browser. And I just went ahead and I clicked open the Aerospace block set. On the left, you can see the menu tree, and on the right's just the tiles or the card view of the different menus. So these are all the categories in the Aerospace block set. And within each one of these categories, there's going to be blocks that you can use. And so this series, we're going to be looking at these different categories and the blocks that are within them, letting you know what the block is, how we use it, the theory behind it, when we use it, and then giving an example or tutorial on how to use it. So with that being said, go ahead and click on the link to the next video, and let's get modeling.